Hi, I'm Red. You're watching Power Garage. Today I'm putting together my K24, at least a short block. So all these parts going into this. One step closer to getting that all-wheel drive EM2 out there boosted. So check it out. Come on, Tim. Already sprayed this thing down a little bit. Gonna go power wash the rest of it. It's funny, it comes full circle. Remember, Tim, when we were at the car wash and I was power washing? I didn't do a very good job, but this thing is nasty. I just rather just do it myself because those the power washers at the machine shop, they have like this baking soda and it just gets into everything. Tim, is looking a little better?
Looks a lot cleaner.
Yeah, also too, got to get rid of all those that metal that was from the machine shop because they didn't clean it for me right away. If you clean it, it's just gonna get all rusty. All right, so Tim helped me out get the block all nice and clean. So next step, how I like to do these motors is I'll kind of lay everything out, and then one step at a time, so everything's ready. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take all the pistons and all the rods and then put them together, and then from there I'll start gapping the rings. Go. And I ordered the upgraded wrist pins with the coatings that I did at MB up in, I think it's Santa Ana or whatever. So ceramic on the top and then anti-friction on the side. Okay, just lay all this stuff out. Got a nice little table I can work. Here we go. These are nice. Got these rods custom made by Pauter just for me. So the way you have to put a rod on a piston for every kind of engine is the little tab for the bearing. It has to go on the exhaust side. So if you look at the piston on a K series, you can see that you have a bigger and a smaller. So this is the exhaust side. So what I'm going to do is take one of these, and the table's not dirty, it's just stained. Okay, what I'm going to do, got to take these clips, take one, put it in. You want to try to get it so it doesn't it's not right there, so it's a little bit easier to get out. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to push it in here. Okay, and then you can take the wrist pin. Kind of difficult. Whoo! That thing wanted out. Let's try this again. I'm gonna try to do this so you don't scratch the piston. There we go. And then, badow. See? It's in. And if I have to take it out, I still have a little bit of room. So, put a little bit of assembly lube on here. I want to try to keep everything nice and lubed up, because lube is your friend. Right, Tim?
Yep.
Okay. Throw this thing in here. Okay. Now, like I said a minute ago, I'm going to double check. Okay. This one is going to be a little bit more difficult because everything is in. Yeah, also too, I hurt myself. I was working on a car yesterday and I hit my finger with a hammer. So yeah, I'm trying not to use my left index finger. I actually do work on cars for a living, so this YouTube stuff is just on the side for me. Here you go. See?
It's nice.
And these pins go in pretty easy. They're what's called a floating wrist pin. A lot of OEM manufacturers, they don't do that. I'm not sure why, but see? So we got the intake and the exhaust. And if you look at the exhaust, it corresponds with the little tabs. So I got one down and then 3 to go. So I'm just gonna work on these, and when I'm done, we'll move on to the next step. Okay, so now it's time to file the rings. It's not too difficult. You just have to put them in the cylinder and just do them one by one. Okay, so I'm just gonna do this for cylinder 1 right here. Okay, this is cylinder 1. And it comes with an instruction sheet right here. It talks about the gap for the ring. So what you gotta do is you gotta take this measurement and multiply it by the bore. So the bore is 3.425 inches. Multiply that, so you have street high performance, you got drag racing, road racing, and you got turbo nitro supercharger. So it's saying 0.0055 times the bore. So 0.0055. So that equals 18.8 thousandths of an inch. So it's between 18 and 19 thousandths. And then it talks about for the secondary ring, you need to add another 4 to 8 thousandths. So I'll probably just do 18 and 22. And then there you go. So it's a 0.018 and then 0.022. So I have some feeler gauges. Right here. I typically use these for valve adjustments, but I mean, feeler gauge is a feeler gauge. It's all the same shit. So I need to find the 18, 19, 17, 13. Man, these are all dirty. Oh, here we go. Here's the 18. You can see right here, it says 18 thousandths of an inch. So this is what I need to shoot for on the top ring. And then the secondary ring, 22. Okay. So I have to take these rings and put them in each cylinder, measure them, file them, and then once they fit, then I'm good. Then I can put them on the pistons and I can bang them in there. Okay. So the top ring is always the chrome ring. Okay. So you want to do, so I'm gonna come over here, Tim. So what you want to do is you want to put this thing in here, and I have this tool that levels them. So right here, okay, right, Tim. So right there, you can see the gap right there. And I'm gonna try the 18, but not even close, nowhere near. So I'm gonna start filing that, and then when it's all done, we'll be good. Out. Yeah, it's probably going to take a little while to get this thing it's going to take me a little while. Open up a little bit. Tool is very crude, but it works. They have nice ones that have like calipers and measurements and all that crap, but those are really expensive. I don't need that. See, the gap is getting a little bigger. See? Almost there. Just gonna take my time. Do this right. It doesn't really take that long to do this. And once it's done, it's done. See, almost there. All right, so I think I got it right this time. Just use my tool. Okay. See, got the 18. We're good. So just repeat this step for all the cylinders. I also have to do the bottom ring too. And then we'll be good. This one already has a pretty good gap. Not enough. Let's try. All right, Tim. There we go. I think we're good. Got the 22 in there. So got the top ring, the bottom ring. Those are good. So now, you know what? Let's just throw one in there. See how we're doing? So what you gotta do, or at least what I do, come on, there we go. Okay, start with the low ring. Okay, there's a little gap right there. You gotta make sure you don't overlap those. And then you got two little oil control rings. Okay. And then you saw where that thing opening was. Okay. You gotta make sure that nothing lines up with itself because you don't want all that oil leaking past. Okay. And then there's a little ledge on this one that looks like an accordion. Okay, there we go. And then the second ring, see it has a little lip right there, a little scraper that has to go downward. So start with this. Just be careful not to scratch it or break it. There we go. Okay. Then you got the little letter on top. Okay. So, need to lube this thing up really nice. Get my spring compressor out. Clean it up a little bit. Oop, there we go. Throw a little bit on here, just so it slides nice. Okay. Man, I lost that little key long ass time ago. So I just use pliers. Works pretty good. Okay. Yeah, everybody has their own way of putting motors together. This is how I like to do it. Okay. Okay. So, this is the intake side, corresponds with the intake valves. Just gonna throw this in here. I haven't put the crankshaft in yet. I plan on doing that later. Make sure this thing is. And what you gotta do is one quick motion. There you go. So, very nice. What do you think, Tim? Looks good to you?
This look legit.
So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this cap off. I'm gonna do all four, and I'm gonna take these caps off, and I'm just gonna drop the crank. But obviously, before I put the crank, I have to put the oil squirters back in. So I'm gonna work on the other three, and then when each one is done, I'm gonna throw it in. So just give me a little bit. So I got all four pistons in. Time for the next step. Flip this thing over. Okay. Then I'm gonna pull the rod caps off. Yeah, these feel really nice. All right, so I'm gonna pull the rod caps off, put the oil squirters, put the bearings in the crank, and then I'm gonna torque everything down. Yeah, before I get too far, I'm gonna put these oil squirters in because it's super difficult to get to these with the motor all put together. So I'm gonna throw these in here before I put the crank in. That was one of the reasons why I picked the K24 block. You know, some people say that you don't need oil squirters for forged pistons, which you really don't, but I wanna have every advantage to keeping this motor live as long as possible. And if I have to sacrifice a little bit of oil pressure, I'll do that. Set my torque wrench to 12 foot-pounds. We're gonna get these things on. Okay. Not very much. Okay. So, now that I got that in, let's do the mains. Okay. Yeah, the top one has little holes in it. And next step, put the crankshaft in. So we gotta put the bearings in. You have a top and a bottom ring. So you gotta make sure that you put them in the correct position. As far as I know, they're not really interchangeable. They have the tang goes a different way. So, see, the top one actually has a hole in it. So the oil can pass through and lubricate the crankshaft. Okay.
Lube everything up.
Oh yeah.
Very generous.
Most of the damage to your engine when it comes to wear is an initial startup. So this is the initial startup of the initial startup. So I want as much assembly lube as I can until it pushes all this out, and yeah, then you're good. Okay. Then the crank, I already cleaned it up. Oh, there's tons of crap everywhere. Okay. So yeah, I just want to make sure, double check this thing, make sure it's nice and clean. No bullshit. It's actually backwards where I'm gonna put it. Alright, so one thing to make your life a little bit easier, I like to put the rear main on the crank before I throw it on there. This is something I like to do. Just makes it a lot easier. Okay. So let's grab this thing, throw it in there, center up the rear main. Okay, now before you put that girdle in, we have to put the thrust bearings. These thrust bearings are critical because this keeps the crank from walking back and forth, because if you can see, it has a lot of lateral movement. Okay. Where do these things go? Oh yeah, right here. See, what I like to do is I'm going to take one right here. It's actually a lot of play. Okay, there we go. And then just feed it in there. Hit the crank. And then I can feed the other one. That's it.
The little passages, that's really nice.
Well, that's just how they fit, Tim. Okay. Okay. Before I put that thing on there, okay, there we go. Okay. push these things up in there. There we go. Just makes it a little bit easier. Go. You know what, Tim? While we're here, we might as well just torque these bad boys down.
Okay, we're all the way up here.
Yep.
Good.
Okay, so gotta make sure this is for cylinder 1. Gotta make sure you have the tangs lined up. See? Exhaust, exhaust. Yeah. Okay.
Say K24 on it?
Yeah, it does. Alright. Put some of this lube on there. Yeah, the moly lube, it helps when you're torquing, because what can happen is they can kind of catch a little bit, and then they won't torque right. Yeah, give me a minute. Cylinder 2. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, building a motor is a slow and tedious process. Got a lot of little things you have to deal with. And it's kind of dirty. You got all these different kind of lubes everywhere. Okay.
How do you feel? We're getting this all buttoned up.
Yeah, it's good. I've been waiting on building a motor for my Civic for a little while now. I actually did a build, like kind of a mild build, K24, and I ended up selling it to one of my customers. He wanted it because it was all ready to go. Just had it bolted in, and he's like, "I'll give you the money for it." I said, "Okay, no problem." But this is my motor. I ain't gonna sell this one. This is going into my Civic, so that we can make lots of power for that all-wheel drive. Yeah, there we go.
Can't wait until we see those all-wheel drive burnouts.
Soon, hopefully. Race car parts are expensive.
You know.
Yeah, so. Okay. Ooh, nasty.
Those are our pretty bolts.
Yeah, most companies use ARP. It's a good manufacturer. They make good bolts. Okay. So, Pauter told me I need to torque these to 50 foot-pounds. So I'm going to do 2 steps. I'll probably do like 20 and then 50. Okay. Tighten these down. There we go. I felt it stop. Okay. dowels, I guess you call them, sleeves, to keep them centered. Yeah, without the girdle, it's so much easier to get to all these bolts. Come on. There we go. Okay, so take it up to 50 and then we'll be good. Where's 50? There it is. Tim, can you put your foot right there? Go. So pretty, Tim. What do you think? You like it?
I'm in love.
Yeah. Well, it's too bad. This is my motor, not yours.
It's alright. Mine's just as beefy. Soon we'll be both taking him down the strip.
Yeah, pretty soon. I like that ASK24.
Yeah. Super nice.
Hi, Tim. So next step, we have to put the bearings on the girdle and put the girdle down.
These don't have the openings?
Openings for what?
The oil. There's no oil passages. Correct?
No. This is the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the oil. These bearings, these race bearings, they're actually cut, so it's 3/4 of the way around. So it's better than OEM. OEM are only cut on the top bearings. So pretty easy. Go. Little bit of lube.
All over the place. Dang.
Yeah, screw it. Okay. Now, I have to get some silicone, and it has to be sealed. Yeah, it needs to go from right here, because that's the end of the chain cover. You can see chain cover goes right there. Not too hard. This is how I like to do it. Like I said, everybody does things their own way. As long as it gets done. Right, Tim?
Yep. Done and correct.
Well, what I'm saying is there's not always a correct way to do something. Sometimes it's just the way that you like to do it. Okay, and then on this side it has to go all the way up to the seal. Otherwise you're going to get some oil leaking past. And that's not good. See, just right here. Make sure it's good. Yeah, that looks right. Still a little bit of oil left on there. Go. I'm gonna drop this baby down. Double check, make sure it's all clean. Okay. Give it a little tap. Okay. I'm gonna start out. With the smaller bolts, because I just want to make sure that the oil, the silicone, it can seal. Okay. Got these bolts to just go all the way around. Got some long ones and some short ones. Here we go, Tim.
Are these torqued down also?
Yeah, of course. Torquing, it's a good thing to do so that you can keep continuity. You can keep things even. I mean, these are not that big of a deal, but you want to make sure that they're even. I'm gonna torque them to let me snug them down. Otherwise, I'm just gonna be
No uggas.
putting these like crazy.
What are we torquing to? 20 or
18.
18?
Oops. Oop. Okay. I'll come back and recheck those. Actually, no. I think I swapped out one of these bolts. I think it's this one that I need. That one's for the oil pump. I'm gonna come back and recheck these after I do the mains. I haven't put the mains in for a reason. It's kind of tricky to get the, what is it called? To get that girdle on there with these. So, yeah, thanks to Inline Pro, they hooked me up, gave me a good price. Yeah, Inline Pro also gave me, give me a good price on the turbo manifold that I'm going to use too. I got a cast manifold from them. Does all look the same? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Grab my 3/16 real quick. you put my smaller wrench at, Tim? Oh, here it is. It's just a lot easier. Supposed to lube bolts when you put them in, but these really, when I put them in like this, they really don't have to be that tight. There's not really any torque spec for that. So I'm just gonna tighten them in with this, and then when I torque them, they're torqued. China battery. How do those look, Tim?
They look really nice.
Yep. Yeah, I would rather use these because the factory bolts, they're meant to stretch. And I don't want things that are meant to stretch under load in my engine, so that's why I swapped them out for the studs. Okay, these are a lot stronger. Yeah, 165 pounds. That's what I was thinking. Where's that lube, Tim? Here it is.
Hiding.
I know. I'm just gonna lube up the top of these so that I can get a good torque reading, and we'll be good.
Lubin mass.
Yeah, I know. Doing motors is dirty. It's okay. There we go. Oops. Lost one. Oh, well, I'll find it. Oh, no. That's what I dropped. Okay. Yeah. Normally there's an oil jet that goes right here. That's for the oil pump with the balancer. But since we're not using that, I'm going to have to plug that off right now.
Oh, really? What kind of oil pump are you going to use?
Type S, obviously. I got a Pauter Type S pump. So I'm going to be using that.
Nice.
Yeah, so...
No cavitation.
Well, it's meant for more RPMs. You know what? I'm just gonna lube these threads. Yeah, this moly lube, it helps with torquing. So. Yeah, these bolts, or these studs, I mean, it's they're made by ARP, but it's a Inline Pro product, so it's sold just from them. Yeah, this is a 5/8, something I don't normally use. Man, going crazy. the instructions said, so if you use Molly lube, 25 to 65. Start in the middle and work my way out. Just double check. Only takes a second. Now all the way to 65. Okay.
Yep. Oop. Slippy. Damn, Red, you brought out the big guns today.
Yup. Here we go.
So nice. Look at those. So torqued.
I'm gonna double check. I'm gonna check the brittle bolts. Just make sure they're still 18. Oop. Alright, go. Wipe off a little bit of extra silicone. Don't need it. Here we go, Tim, what do you think?
Looks really nice.
Let me grab a crank bolt real quick. Check this out. I'm just going to put this on here. We can move it around, make sure that we can check everything so we don't have any interference, because sometimes you have to space out the crank scraper. That's what it's called.
Yeah. And remember with my engine when we're building it, the oil squirter was hitting.
Yeah, I remember.
So, got to clearance everything.
Woo. Uh-oh. Running into a problem, Tim.
What happened?
The rods are too big. Oh well.
We're gonna have to clearance.
Yeah. Okay, well, you know what, sometimes you have to clearance these blocks a little bit because the connecting rods are a little bit too wide at the end. It's a good thing, they're stronger, but yeah, Pauter didn't tell me anything about that, so I'm just gonna have to take everything back apart. Everything is already measured and gapped and everything like that, so it'll just be a lot easier to put everything back together. So I'll finish this thing up next time. So hit like and subscribe, and stay tuned for more good videos. I'll see you guys later.